course.
That's all right. So
I
appreciate having Jackson here. We have a special guest today. This is going to be Jackson Tarpley. Jackson, explain who you're with, what you do for a living.
Yes, sir. I got you, man.
Dive in.
So I'm with First International Title. We're the largest independent title company here in the state of Florida. We got 30 offices from Pensacola all the way down to Key West. My job is to travel around to all those 30 offices and work with the clients of all those unique branches. Those, of course, being realtors, right? So my role, I'm the digital marketing manager. So not only do I go around and create content, I teach classes, and I also sort of audit our social media strategy across our entire company. So that's really my job. And there's a lot of other things within there, but that's the fun stuff.
That's cool. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that and giving like a little bit of color to it, because I think people think that we just kind of run around with the cell phones doing videos.
No,
there's more to it.
Yeah,
there's more to it, right?
We do that too,
and that's why we're doing this kind of fun stuff.
Yes.
If we've been doing interviews with real estate professionals and mortgage advisors. So a lot of people that are watching the channel or following along with the YouTube and the things that we're doing are getting a ton of real estate stuff. And today you're going to get marketing for the real estate industry,
right?
Because that's what we focus on. So we're going to share some stuff. If you're a salesperson and you're watching this, I promise you you're going to get just as much sauce out of it. Yep. But we're going to start at the beginning. So I'm going to massage some of the questions that I normally ask in the real estate and mortgage advisor side, and we're going to massage them specifically for Jackson. So Jackson, how did you get into the industry? So we're not like not all the way back, but just how'd you get in the industry? How'd you do this?
Well, like many other people, I kind of fell into it. To be honest, Michael. So my major in college was photo video journalism.
So where'd you go to school?
Florida State. Florida State. I'm not trying to offend anybody. If you're a Noel, shout me out in the comments. Okay?
Yeah, we got some Gators, we got Hurricanes, we got Knights, we got Owls, we got so many people.
Hey, I love all of the Florida universities.
Me too.
Okay, we have great universities here in the state. I got a great education at Florida State, but my major was photo video journalism. So I got a unique opportunity to produce content, take pictures on the field, take videos. Got a chance to brush shoulders with the football players, basketball players. It was a good time. But when I graduated, I kind of learned that unfortunately print journalism was, I don't want to say a dying industry, but it was certainly a changing industry. And I can't really say honestly, Michael, that it was changing for the better.
Yeah.
So I decided I need to go into sort of a different outlet. And my skills that I learned there at Florida State, because my major was journalism, so I learned all about copywriting, learned about media, right? Learned about how to target different types of customers through specific messaging.
Okay.
So I kind of took that. What I started to do is I started producing content on my own, and I started mostly working with realtors. I kind of fell into that. So after a while, I went to a title company and I said, hey, listen, I'm doing this on my own. What if I did this for you? What if I became ingrained into your marketing approach to agents? Because this was a time back in, it had to be like 2019, 2018, where video was roaring ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there already? As the most effective, the best way to market yourself, right? So I went to a title company. I said, why don't I take my skills that I've in my book of business with all these realtors, why don't I ingrain it into your marketing strategy? So the vendor partner could assist them with that. So that's kind of how I fell into it, and I've evolved since then. I started strictly doing content, got a larger role doing all the digital marketing, so that's why I focus on a broader spectrum now.
That's awesome. Yeah. I appreciate that. So,
course,
so you've been kind of you're in the running and gunning time of like young people that were doing this for fun as a hobby, and now you're doing it for a living.
Absolutely.
How awesome is that, right?
So, I mean, I tell you, I used to steal my parents' video camera with the tiny tapes.
Yeah.
We used to edit things on Windows Movie Maker all night long, and it was just for us. It was just for me and my friends to enjoy making little films. But what that leads to is it leads to actually tangible skills that can make a difference in your life and your career. So
it really does. It really does. I think that's a fantastic share, and we're looking forward to football season coming up. So I want to drop out a shout out to Shannon Young, because Shannon's going to be going to. You guys have an Ireland game coming up. Is
Dublin, Ireland.
That's going to be awesome.
0, baby.
That's
going to be fun.
Week 0. I like that. It's coming up in like another week or
two. It is literally week 0.
That's exciting. Yep. That's really exciting. So let me ask you a question. I normally ask the real estate and mortgage advisors, what's a hot product out in the marketplace, or what should consumers, buyers, sellers, what should they be looking at? But we need to massage it for marketing and advertising. Sure. So for a real estate professional, real estate industry, what is a program that every realtor or real estate professional should be using as of like right now, August 2024? Not a platform, not like Instagram, Facebook. We get that. We should be on social. But what's a program that someone should be using?
Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I guarantee you anybody watching this has most likely heard it before, but I'm going to put a different spin on it. So I'm going to say you must be leveraging generative AI, specifically ChatGPT, in your marketing and sales strategy. Now, that is not to say that you're going to let the AI do all of your language creation, all of your marketing, the pillars of your strategy.
It's not like another salesperson in the office.
Right.
You're not like replacing a human being.
You're not.
Right.
You're not. But
oftentimes it's smarter than a human being.
it is smarter than a human being, right? I mean, the pro version of ChatGPT has 6 terabytes of information in its data set.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how many books that could take up,
Fascinating.
but that's unbelievable, right?
Fascinating,
So not necessarily taking chat and letting it do everything for you. However, ChatGPT is an expert on tonality of language, right? So I would say feed your current marketing strategy to ChatGPT, input that, the way that you type out your marketing and the way that you brand yourself, word vomit, for lack of a better term, word vomit, all that information into ChatGPT. Let it become an expert on your tonality of language, and then use it as an idea generator. Hey, I want 10 weeks of video content that I can create on a very basic and easy level.
Let's
Done,
go.
right? I want 10 social media posts using the context and the branding that I've already given you in my voice. I want 10 social media posts, right? So leveraging that to save time and money, I gotta say, I know it's a low-hanging fruit, but ChatGPT would always be my answer.
I think it's great. I think it's become one of those kind of like, not for your response, but kind of like overused, overplayed type of things where people that are talking about it don't really know what it is.
Right.
You know, so you're like, oh, ChatGPT, but there's like all kinds of different ChatGPTs, and like, do you know which one you're talking about? And again, these are generative AI, so he's using the actual term generative AI, where people, even like myself, I say, are you using ChatGPT? And then I'll get the savvy person will go, but what about Gemini? And I'll be like, okay, so you are using it. But I always tell sales professionals above and beyond just the marketing, because the marketing is exceptional. You got to be using it as an assistant. It's not a replacement. You do want to have to understand tonality and prompting. That's important. Who can help them with that?
Yeah, well, we can.
We can.
Yeah,
right? How
anybody
cool is
who's
that?
an expert on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so we can help you with that.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about this or the things that we're talking about today, just ask. Also for sales professionals, I say if there's anything you're doing that creates like emotion in your day to day. For me, I was responding to we'll say a client, for lack of better terms, and it was like an emotional response where like I was like invested in my response, you know, and I got like typing, and then I said, hold on a second, let me just copy it, paste it into ChatGPT, see what they say. Right. And they gave a perfect, succinct business response.
There you go.
You know, I even remember, this was one of the first conversations I ever had, and I said, well, I was right and they were wrong, you know, and ChatGPT is like, humans are kind of like that. And humans like want to like include this, but I wouldn't, because the point is to create a solution, not to talk more about it. And I was like, okay, well, do it without that response. And it did, and I was like, that's nicer, that's better. And I will kid you not, this is probably the first time I've explain this, other than people who know me in real life, where I've told this story. I went on to have like a full conversation with that ChatGPT, and it was eye opening to like our own tone as professionals, right? And how we can carry ourselves, or just make things easier, right? Like life's hard enough, right?
100%.
So use ChatGPT.
Let me take it one step further real quick, not to cut you off, but I'll say that, how about you take all those responses you get from a potential client or a business partner, you input that into ChatGPT, have ChatGPT tell you their personality type, and what kind of messaging would be the most impactful for that specific individual. See, those are the kind of things I think Chat can do very well. Again, it's an expert on tonality and language, but it's up to you, the user, the end user, to hone it in on a specific niche, right?
Yes.
So that's what we try to teach.
I think that's fascinating, and it's very important to do that, because my experience, it was to get a result, it was to get an email, but not only that, it wasn't just like copy paste, it was read it, kind of take into account or experience myself as a professional, then kind of massage that, or you say tonality, kind of, you can make it fun, make it dramatic, make it serious, make it light. There's all kinds of different tones. So you end up coming away from that experience, and I strongly believe it's like role playing back in the day. You'd role play with professionals, you sit ring, you just sit down 100%. And do that. You become a better professional by talking it out, you know, and if you don't have somebody to talk to in your office or something like that, use ChatGPT. So
100%.
Great thing. That's an awesome share. Well, we're going to keep it moving along. So at this point, we do like kind of a mic drop moment, or you can give a piece of advice, or you can tell someone your why. So it's got to fit into one of those 3 buckets. But this is going to be for you. I'm not going to coach you on what to say. You're going to be right there into the camera.
I got it.
What would you leave the professionals out there with that are watching this today?
Well, I'll tell you, I go around the state of Florida. I teach a lot of classes, and I have the unique opportunity to speak to a lot of different types of realtors in a lot of different markets across Florida, right? And I typically end my classes with this, specifically when I get a lot of looks in the room where I can tell people are struggling to commit to learn something new. They're saying, look, the market sucks, quite frankly, right now. I hate to say it, but it's true, right? I am trying to monetize my time so much. So if I'm going to reserve some time out of my day to not do an income-generating activity, a direct income-generating activity, you better come with some good stuff, right? But again, I get a lot of intimidated eyes. So this is what I say, right? I say, don't look at the mountain of learning something, right? Don't look at this as learning something is going to be so hard for me. Focus on the opportunity cost of not learning that skill, right? Because I guarantee you, right, we live in an age where your competition will, and you just may be left in the dust. So I say don't focus on the task at hand of learning something. Focus on what may happen if you do not learn that. And I say this all the time as like a inspirational thing, but we live on the precipice of a revolution in the world in technology, right? I'll give you one small example. Nowadays, when I Google stuff, which I did a few minutes ago for our previous podcast, what I now am reading is an AI summary of the results. I'm not going to a landing page anymore, right? So in that one small way, we're absolutely changing the way that internet search is going to happen. So one small example, we live on the precipice of a huge revolution, similar to back in the AOL days, right? I was a little young at that point. I was like in grade school, middle school. But I remember going back and like logging on and going on AIM, Instant Messenger, right?
Isn't that like the mark of like a true professional or like a business owner? Like if you ever want to know who the owner is, what's their email going to be?
At AOL.com.
AOL,
no
always,
security, no cybersecurity. They're probably getting fished left and right.
Yeah, if you got that email them. They're the owner.
Seriously, yeah, they're stuck in their ways. But that's fine, you know. But that's the thing is like back then, that was a huge revolutionary change on the way that independent contractors like agents have to market themselves, and we didn't even realize it yet. I think now we have the foresight to, and the hindsight, to understand that this is coming now. This revolution in generative AI, we can see how the internet affected things and now how generative AI is the next step, right? So that's what I always say. I try to leave people with that positive thought,
exciting,
right?
yeah.
Take the time to learn it and grow it because we live now in an amazing society where you can learn this technology and get eons ahead of your competition, and it's really not that hard.
That's it. That's it. I've been telling people just 1% better every day. Just get 1% better every day. 100%. That's why it's fantastic to have organizations that invest in their sales professionals, like having people like us, you know, and I mean that humbly. I mean, I'm not saying that to like pat myself on the back. I'm saying what I'm saying is if a sales professional is leaning into these programs and they're trying to learn them, they're going to learn them over time, but they can invite in a professional like us. There's so many like cloud-based programs and we can come in and take it. So I always say if you get lost in the weeds, it takes, you know, more than 15 minutes to maybe do something. So if you're trying to get a post out and it takes more than 15 minutes, reach out to your marketing person, reach out to someone like us. You have us. If you don't have a marketing person, please reach out to Jackson, reach out to myself. We'll answer, we'll show you. We had a guy, shout out to Mitch. Mitch was on the other day. Mitch had a closing graphic that he wanted to do. I set up the graphic for him, customized it, but I wanted to give him an opportunity to customize it. Why not, right? You don't want to take things, you're not doing a spoon feed anybody, right? They're professionals. They want to be professional all the way. 100%. So he jumped in and it's cloud-based, so I could see it and he can see it. And he was doing his thing and we were on and I let about 15 minutes go by and I gave him a phone call and I said, Mitch, you want me to hook this up for you? And he's like, I do. Let's jump in there, get it done, you know?
5 seconds.
Yeah, but I promise you, if I asked him to go in and like just make a simple graphic today, after yesterday, he knows a couple things that he didn't know the day before. 100%. But I jumped in, hooked it up, and I'm sure you've done this before, and send it over. They put the post out. They can use ChatGPT to remove the analysis paralysis, right? Just ask it to create a nice caption for you, remove the emojis, you're good to go. It'll do hashtags for you. So utilize what Jackson was telling you. Take a little bit of sauce out of what I've shared on top of that. And if you have any questions or concerns, that's what concerns you have. But if you have any questions or concerns, you feel free to give us a shout. You email us. But I'm going to rapid fire some stuff at you.
Go for it.
So you just came back from Japan.
I did. Yeah,
right?
I was
I'm a fan. I follow. Social media works.
Social media works. Yeah,
it works.
There you go, buddy.
So you just came back from Japan. I want you to like give us like a cool like word or like something that you can leave us with from Japan.
Okay. I'll give you something really neat that's part of the culture over there. First of all, I'll say that if you haven't gone, anybody out there, if you haven't gone, you got to go. It's like a parallel dimension. It's like an alternate reality. The people that live in that country and the type of culture they create over there, it's so unbelievably respectful. It's more so like everybody kind of thinks for the good of society versus the good of themselves. We have a lot of rugged individualism here in the States.
And that's okay.
That's
not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all.
That's the point of traveling.
Yes,
that's
why I say it's like an alternate dimension over there. But one thing that really stood out to me was, and I'll give you the word, I'm getting up to it, but in downtown Tokyo, there's a place called the Harajuku Street.
That's no doubt. Gwen Stefani. That's where I first heard the word from. That's cool. That's awesome.
So as you walk down the street, it's very tight. You realize there's all these little stores left and right, and there's a theme that prevails because you have little cat cafes and places where you can drink coffee with Pomeranians. And my wife and I went to an otter cafe.
Okay,
they give you little otters, and you get to play with the otters. It was really cool.
It doesn't get any otter than that.
It was pretty odd. But the theme there is cute, right? So they have this huge subculture of cuteness, and the word word for cute is Kawaii.
like
It's
that.
Hawaii with a K, so it's Kawaii. They always say like Kawaii. They put their little hand up to their.
Kawaii.
That's their culture, right?
Okay.
So now that I've come back, it's like my wife and I all the time. We're like, oh, look at that. That's Kawaii. So it's this
So
funny
cool.
thing that's emerged.
And that's social media right there. So,
Yes.
I'm on social media the other day and I see the creator of RWB. I don't know if you guys know supercars or cars, Porsche, wide body cars. And it says right there, isn't the creator so kawaii? And I was like, what does that mean? Now here we are a day later. I know social media is wild, isn't it?
Thanks to the power of social media, some of their culture can bleed over here. So now you're seeing things like that.
That's so
right?
cool.
20, 30 years ago, I'd say Kawaii. And
Yeah,
what the heck is that?
what? No, it's pronounced Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pronounced
Cool,
Hawaii.
right?
No, you're wrong state, buddy. Yeah, but it's funny how those kind of things we seem to connect to such a larger audience now because of the power of social media.
And that's a great thing, and I'm all about that.
100%.
So I would imagine that the people that are watching this are all about that too, all about connecting and reaching out there. We're right on the other side of the phone or the computer screen. Feel free to reach out to us. If you're seeing this through someone else and you have a question or you just want to reach out, feel free. You can get my information from the description or through the channel or through social media. But if you want to email Jackson or call Jackson, what information would you like to share?
Just shoot me an email. Honestly, that's the best way to get in touch with me. If you call me, I might be up teaching or doing something. But Jackson.Tarpley, just my first and last name, Jackson.Tarpley at firstentitled.com. If you guys need any help, particularly with starting, right? As I said, I've traveled the state. I've taught so many groups of realtors. I've taught the person that has never even gone on ChatGPT, has never touched a piece of this technology in their life. And I've taught people who have put in hours, right? And I've been able to teach them something new, right? Because there's such a unique area of opportunity and these tools are changing every day. So don't be scared to reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you.
Go.
And even better, right? We have over 20 different individual reps in all submarkets here in Florida from Pensacola to Key West. And we're teaching them this as well, right?
Yeah,
Don't just think that we're teaching it to our clients and our partners. We're teaching this to our internal employees as well. So if I can help you, which I'm sure I can, one of those 20 folks would be happy to do so.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
exciting. Well, I appreciate that. I'll leave you guys with a couple things. I've been saying that a goal can fail, but a system can scale.
Love
so you can be personally invested in a goal and it can fail. And you can feel bad about that, but a system you can just go back and you can fix it.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's a
Audit it.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you being on with me today and talking. I think we should leave them with a 1, 2, 3. Kawaii.